We are kicking off with some major breaking news as Malakai Black has officially been removed from AEW's roster page, signaling his exit from the promotion. Black was written off television weeks ago, coinciding with the House of Black faction being rebranded as the Hounds of Hell. Following his removal from the roster, PW Insider has now confirmed that Black's AEW contract expired on February 9th, making him a free agent. This means he is legally free to sign with WWE immediately if he chooses to do so. While there's been no official confirmation of his next move, all signs point toward a return to WWE. Adding fuel to the speculation, a backstage segment on last week's Raw with American Made featured Chad Gable discussing his desire to learn the dark arts of Lucha Libre, mentioning that he'll be taking a break to study. For those unaware, Black's wrestling school is called the Dark Arts Gym, making this reference a strong hint that WWE is already planting the seeds for his return. Between this and his AEW departure, a WWE comeback could be just weeks away. Black previously requested his AEW release in 2022 with the intent of returning to WWE, though circumstances kept him in AEW for longer than expected. While things may have changed since then, a WWE homecoming remains the most likely scenario. Stay tuned for further updates. But that's not all. Just hours after reports of Black's exit surfaced, both Ricky Starks and Miro were also removed from AEW's official roster page, marking another major shakeup within the company. Miro made a significant impact upon joining AEW in 2020, capturing the TNT Championship early in his run. He initially signed a 2-year contract set to expire in spring 2022, but later extended his deal until 2026. However, due to limited appearances, wrestling only 11 matches since 2021, and creative frustrations, Miro requested his release in September 2024, which AEW denied, effectively keeping him off television. Now, according to PW Insider, Miro and AEW have officially parted ways after reaching a mutual agreement. Reports indicate both sides had been negotiating an exit for some time, but a deal never materialized until now. With his profile removed from AEW's website, Miro's 5-year tenure with the company has officially ended. His last AEW match took place on December 30th, 2023 at World's End, where he secured a victory over Andrade El Idolo with assistance from CJ Perry. Fans have long voiced their belief that Miro was underutilized in AEW, particularly in his final year. The big question now is, will he return to WWE? While his previous WWE run was plagued by inconsistent booking under Vince McMahon, leading to his eventual release, it remains to be seen whether Triple H would handle him differently if he re-signed with the company. The latest name confirmed to be out of AEW is Ricky Starks. Reports from Ebu of Wrestle Purists and Fightful Select previously revealed that Starks had repeatedly requested his release, only for AEW President Tony Khan to deny it. Starks has not been seen on AEW programming since March 2024 and openly admitted to being in the dark about why he wasn't being used. Now, Mike Johnson of PW Insider has reported that Starks is 100% free and clear to sign with any promotion of his choosing. His removal from AEW's roster page strongly suggests that his time with the company is officially over. With Starks now a free agent, speculation is already heating up about a potential WWE move. His charisma, in-ring talent, and past ties with Cody Rhodes make him a prime candidate for a WWE run. The wrestling world is buzzing with speculation. Will Malakai Black, Miro, and Ricky Starks all make their way back to WWE, or could another promotion be a better fit for them? What do you think? Would WWE be the right move for them, or should they explore other opportunities? Drop your thoughts in the comments. WWE Raw news now as Jey Uso kicked off the show by yeeting with the fans, but his celebration was cut short when Gunther attacked him from behind while he stood atop the announce desk. During this assault, Gunther would remove his jacket and throw it at Pat McAfee, who ducked, resulting in Gunther's jacket wiping out a child sat in the front row behind the commentators. We can only hope the young fan got a free t-shirt after this, perhaps a piece of merch bearing the World Heavyweight Champion. Gunther and Jey brawled in the ring, with Gunther taking Uso down to the mat before security intervened, with the World Heavyweight Champion retreating to the entrance ramp. Jey pulled himself up on the ropes and grabbed the mic to declare that he will use his Royal Rumble opportunity to face Gunther for the gold at WrestleMania 41. This infuriated Gunther, who stormed back to the ring, only for Jey to take him and several security members out with a dive over the top rope. This was an electric way to start the show, capped off by the momentous announcement of Uso vs. Gunther at WrestleMania, the first match confirmed for this year's 2-night event. With that in mind, WWE has plenty of time to build anticipation and cement the match as about worthy of a main event spot, something many fans don't believe to be the case right now. Having Jey choose Gunther also bodes well for the World Heavyweight Championship match, which often finds itself overshadowed by the undisputed WWE Championship on SmackDown. As we previously reported in January, PW Insider stated that a showdown between Jey Uso and Gunther at WrestleMania 41 had always been the plan. WWE's strategy was to have Jey Uso suffer consecutive defeats against Gunther leading up to WrestleMania 41, solidifying Gunther's dominance as a champion before ultimately falling to Uso on the grandest stage. This explains Jey Uso's recent losses, including at Saturday night's main event, and on other occasions, making Gunther 3-0. With the first official match set for WrestleMania 41 on tonight's Raw, it's now certain that the winner of the men's Elimination Chamber match will challenge undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes on the grandest stage of them all. Liv Morgan made out of won her tag team match alongside Raquel Rodriguez on Raw, but she put up a valiant fight against Io Sky and a returning Dakota Kai. That's despite Morgan suffering a cut on the side of her head after Sky landed a brutal knee strike, prompting Pat McAfee to exclaim, "Liv is gushing her own blood." This came about after Morgan defeated Sky in an Elimination Chamber qualifier match last week, where she won with accidental assistance from Liv's nemesis, Rhea Ripley. Despite the cut, Morgan continued to fight this week, with both teams exchanging offense before Sky got the win by hitting Liv with a stomach stomp and an over-the-moonsault. This was a competitive, lengthy tag match that slightly unraveled in the later moments, but still showcased two teams who have plenty of chemistry. Morgan continues to show growth as a performer, but the match also spotlighted Sky, who despite last week's loss, is expected to be in another WrestleMania Championship match. Sky is arguably the best wrestler in the women's division and has undeniable momentum, and having her not face Rhea Ripley this April would be a major creative mistake. If Morgan sustained any serious injuries this week, details weren't immediately available, and for now, she remains part of the Women's Elimination Chamber match set for March 1st. Morgan will join Bayley, Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, and two other women yet to be decided, with the winner facing either Rhea Ripley or Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton this April. Morgan's cut to the superior tarsus, or upper eyelid in layman's terms, certainly looked nasty, but it's since been confirmed that Liv is okay and doctors have been taking care of her. Morgan even saw the funny side of things as she shared photos of her gruesome injury on Twitter and shared that according to her daddy Dom, she's still cute. Backstage, Io Sky told Rhea Ripley that she was still coming for her, clearly angry about what happened last week, and Rhea had a response later in the show. Ripley confirmed that in 3 weeks' time on the Raw after Elimination Chamber, she'll give Io Sky a Women's World Championship opportunity. While it makes sense for WWE to give big matches to get fans watching Raw, this would have been a great match for the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event. It's possible that this match will still take place at WrestleMania 41 as well, as many have predicted, and we should have a clearer picture of plans in 3 weeks' time. The New Day had a promo during a commercial break and once again got booed as much as fans could, though it's time for WWE to do much more with the pair. Since the turn on Big E, Xavier Woods has had just one tag match and one singles match on Raw, and the same is the case for Kofi Kingston. It's been over 2 months since the pair turned heel, and while Kingston and Woods remain loathed, it's time for WWE to actually progress them as heels past what they did to Big E. CM Punk came out to discuss the Elimination Chamber, but his promo was soon hijacked by Logan Paul, who was set to compete in his Chamber qualifier match. Before the Maverick, Punk addressed John Cena's decision to simply declare himself for the Chamber while everyone else had to qualify, and surprisingly shared respect to Cena. Punk couldn't help but take shots at Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, but made clear his goal is WrestleMania 41 and a title showdown with Cody Rhodes. It was here when Paul interrupted to kick off their first ever face-to-face, and Punk sarcastically pretended not to recognize Paul's theme song, taking a swing at Def Rebel in the process. Paul bragged about eliminating Punk from the Royal Rumble and called Punk's stint in the match the best 15 minutes of the veteran's career. Punk said the only number Paul needed to worry about was 619, and in the main event, Paul faced Rey Mysterio for a spot in the Elimination Chamber. Paul was surprisingly dominant for much of the match, which showcased Paul's continuing in-ring evolution while reminding fans of Rey's selflessness to elevate others. Paul got the win, and while some may take issue with him being in the Chamber alongside top-tier talent, this does set up a possible GTS to the Maverick that'll please fans worldwide. Paul's second Chamber will see him join Punk, Cena, and Drew McIntyre, with the final qualifying matches being Finn Balor vs. Seth Rollins and Jacob Fatu vs. Damian Priest vs. Braun Strowman. The action didn't stop though, as Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods attacked Mysterio after the match, and Dragon Lee would come out to make the save for his LWO ally. Despite a strong start, the New Day would overpower Lee before security ejected them from the ring, all to the sound of New Day chants from the Nashville crowd. Roxanne Perez was seen in the crowd to watch the action, and WWE confirmed that next week Perez will face Raquel Rodriguez in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. As for this week though, Perez was in Nashville to watch Bayley face Lyra Valkyria in a Women's Elimination Chamber qualifier, further teasing Perez's feud with the role model. During the match, Michael Cole referenced AEW's Mercedes Moné as he recalled Bayley and Sasha Banks becoming the inaugural Women's Tag Team Champions inside the Chamber in 2019. Both women delivered strong performances as Bayley proved her status as a veteran, while Valkyria is a rising star leading the next generation of the division. Bayley's win was the right call, but WWE's creative team must find a way to elevate Valkyria's Intercontinental title reign, which has felt underwhelming so far through no fault of the Valkyrie. Backstage, Ivy Nile, joined by the Creeds, made clear to Lyra Valkyria that she wants the Women's Intercontinental title, and could a match happen at Elimination Chamber? Share your thoughts below. If you've watched wrestling for long enough, you'll know that WWE has a weird way of deciding who gets an entrance and who doesn't during an episode of TV. Typically, the choices of entrants will telegraph a superstar's position on the roster's hierarchy, as someone like Bianca Belair will always have a full entrance. Meanwhile, stars lower down in the pecking order like Piper Niven or Zoe Stark may only be seen already in the ring, but this week's Raw saw some interesting selections. Both Bayley and Damage Control were given the untelevised treatment this week, despite Bayley being a top name in the women's division. Damage Control has also proven themselves on TV, and with Io Sky being as over as she is right now, it was baffling to see herself and Dakota Kai treated this way. Those with the ad-free tier may have noticed their entrances, but for fans seeing ads on Netflix, Bayley and her former allies simply apparated into the ring. All three women are former champions and deserve better, and moving to streaming isn't an excuse, as if the show was still on cable, it wouldn't have aired these entrances either. Backstage, Ludwig Kaiser confronted Pete Dunne, who warned him to stay out of his way before AJ Styles brushed past the German superstar. This hinted at a future program between Kaiser and Styles, and the latter would then hit the ring and cut a promo in which he addressed the fans in Nashville. Styles also reflected on the injury he suffered on SmackDown 4 months ago when wrestling Carmelo Hayes, an injury that could have ended the former world champion's career. AJ told fans that, "I've got a long to-do list," and ensured the crowd that he wasn't going anywhere yet, putting to rest any rumors that the injury scare could have led AJ to step away from action. Styles was soon interrupted by the Judgment Day's Dominik Mysterio and Carlito, with Mysterio trading verbal barbs with AJ, who reminded Dom that he's still just Rey Mysterio's punk kid. The heat was nuclear for Mysterio, who over 2 years into his heel run is proving once again to be as over as any other superstar on the roster. The Phenomenal One then cleared both heels from the ring, setting the stage for a feud between AJ and the Judgment Day that'll likely unfold over the next few weeks. The segment worked well as Styles embodied the role of a grizzled veteran who still has plenty to give to wrestling, even if his body may fail on him. Mysterio talked a big game but ended up taking a beating, something he's unlikely to let slide, and working with one of WWE's most loathed heels will help Styles develop now that he's back. It helps that the crowd were overwhelmingly on Styles' side during this exchange, and backstage after the segment, AJ asked Adam Pearce for a match with Dom, which will happen next week. After that, Styles shared an intense face-to-face with Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker, teasing a potential showdown between the two, presumably with the gold on the line. Do you think this title match will make it to the WrestleMania 41 card, or will WWE put it on before this April's two-night mega show? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Now, AJ Styles deeply values his family, but he's currently facing a distressing situation as his brother-in-law, Andy Idris, has gone missing, and his family is seeking the public's help. Styles' wife Wendy used her brother's Facebook account to share that he's been missing for 24 hours and does not have his phone, and asked anyone with information to come forward. Andy's brother Craig also posted on Facebook stating that Andy has been missing since February 8th and asked anyone who has spoken to him or knows his location to reach out. Andy was last seen in South Petersburg, Tennessee, driving a 2010 red Toyota Camry with the license plate BLU 7576, and the family is in desperate need of information that could be useful. If you've seen him or have any details about his whereabouts, please contact Craig Idris at 678-794-4242 or reach out to local authorities. This is an incredibly difficult time for AJ Styles and his family, and any support from the community could make a difference, and we hope that Andy will be located very soon. Things got heated in the Judgment Day's base as Finn Balor confronted Dominik, who was angry that Finn didn't come out to help himself and Carlito deal with AJ Styles. Finn was angry that Liv didn't listen to him, and in the biggest tease of a change for the faction, Dom asked about adding a new member to the group, to which Balor immediately said no. Despite Finn's rejection, the seed has been planted for somebody to join the group as a replacement of JD McDonough while he's out with injury. It seems inevitable that somebody is coming, and if Finn doesn't like the idea, then it may just be a matter of time before Finn Balor is also replaced as part of the faction. It wouldn't be the first time that a member's been kicked out, as fans can point to Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley, and will Finn Balor be next? Time will tell. Membership issues aside, Finn Balor's been chasing the World Heavyweight title for years, but has repeatedly come up short, but next week, he could take a big step to a future title match if he could beat Seth Rollins. On this week's Raw, Rollins sat down for an interview with Jackie Redmond where he addressed the upcoming Elimination Chamber match and was confident that he'll be winning. Rollins declared that all eyes are on him as he plans to win the match and secure a title shot at WrestleMania, but Balor interrupted and argued that he should be the one fans are watching. Balor also acknowledged Rollins' recent struggles, including his loss to CM Punk during Raw's debut on Netflix and how he snapped after failing to win the Royal Rumble. Rollins acknowledged their history in the ring, stating that while he has unfinished business with Punk and loose ends to tie up with Cody Rhodes, Balor is now the one in his way. Seth said it won't be the case for long, as the two men will clash in next week's qualifying match, with the winner moving one step closer to a championship match at WrestleMania 41. On Raw, Michael Cole shared that Sami Zayn had suffered spinal compression and nerve damage following the attack and package piledriver by Kevin Owens last week. Cole said that Zayn would not be present on Raw due to the injuries sustained, and at this time, there's no certainty on when the Canadian will return to programming. He talked about how serious the injury was and that the honorary Uso would be out of action for a considerable time, though fans should actually expect Sami back relatively soon. This injury is just for storyline, as this angle is leading to Zayn vs. Owens at WrestleMania 41, where fans can expect another barn burner between the longtime friends. The Creed brothers battled the War Raiders for the World Tag Team Championships on Raw, but Brutus and Julius would end up getting themselves intentionally disqualified. The pair attacked the Raiders with the tag titles and would stand tall while posing with the championships, making clear this feud is far from over. There was an epic spot where Ivar hit a crossbody to Brutus Creed into the LED ring wall, and the young athlete was completely laid out by that impact. As for the match, this was a solid showcase that had some fans buying into the near falls late in the game, and while the finish may not be ideal to some, it keeps the story moving. This finish adds heat as the Raiders will be hungry, and with good action, great physicality, and a finish that protects everyone, this was a match worth watching. More from Raw as Bianca, Belair, and Naomi put their women's tag team titles on the line against Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, with the latter hoping to become a double champion. Despite a valiant effort by Green and her head of Secret Service, it was Naomi and Belair who got the win, proving to be as dominant as ever as women's tag team champions. Now, Chad Gable has established himself as one of the most dependable names on WWE's roster, but the Olympian could soon be competing for AAA. After losing matches to Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Penta, Gable announced during a recent Raw that he'd be taking a leave of absence to conquer the dark arts of Lucha Libre. Though it's unclear how he'll exactly conquer the dark arts, Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer Live suggested that Gable will be working some dates for AAA. Alvarez noted while that he hasn't confirmed the news, he's heard that Gable is expected to wrestle for the promotion, adding another partnership to WWE's list in 2025. This year has already seen Omos and Shinsuke Nakamura compete for Noah, and WWE announced its multi-year partnership with TNA, and now AAA could be next. It remains to be seen if WWE and AAA officially move forward with this plan, but it would certainly be a huge move for Gable if he ends up competing in AAA this year. Would you like to see Chad Gable wrestle in AAA? Who should he face if he does? Share your thoughts in the comments.